Hi, Aero King channel welcomes you. My name is Ginny Raj, and in aircraft systems and instruments, today we will be discussing about pitot static system or pitot static tube. Pitot static tube is a device which is used to measure the fluid flow velocity. It was invented by Henri Pitot, a French engineer. See here, at the right side we have a diagram for this pitot static tube and a simple pitot tube and a static source. So first of all, Henry Pitot, he just invented the pitot tube, which has a single tube used to measure the stagnation pressure, and a separate static source for measuring the static pressure. But in a pitot static tube, we have two sources fixed in a single system or single device. So we can measure both stagnation pressure and also the static pressure. Henry Pitot invented this device to measure the speed of the fluid flow in a canal. He used a static port to measure the static pressure and a pitot tube to measure both the static and dynamic pressure. So here we can see the static pressure at point 1 and at the point 2 both remain same, but the pitot tube it measures the dynamic pressure also. The combination of both static and dynamic pressure is called the total pressure or the stagnation pressure. For dynamic pressure, we have a formula called half rho v square, and for static pressure, we denoted the term as P1 because it is the pressure at the point 1, and for stagnation pressure or total pressure, we denote the term as P stagnation or P total, we can say. So here we can see the flow which enters the pitot tube. The velocity becomes zero at the front of the pitot tube. The point at which the velocity stops is called the stagnation point. The pressure at the point is called the stagnation pressure. We denote that pressure as P2. So in wind tunnels, this pitot static tube is used to measure the speed of air. In wind tunnels, we have a single system which gives pressure for both the static and stagnation pressures. So for subsonic wind tunnel, the pitot tube, the static source is or a static vent is kept at a distance of 4d from the leading edge of the pitot tube. But for supersonic wind tunnels, the static vent is kept at a distance of 8d from the leading edge of the pitot tube. This is for avoiding the interference of shock in supersonic wind tunnels while measuring the speed of the flow. But in aircraft pitot static system, we have a pitot tube which is situated at the nose, or in some aircraft, Cessna like aircrafts, it is situated at the wing of the under the wing. But in large aircrafts and all, it is situated at the nose of the aircraft, and it has a static vent also or a static port. You can see it from this image itself. From this static vent and the pitot tube, we can measure the dynamic pressure. From the dynamic pressure, we can easily find the velocity of or the speed of the aircraft. So we know the dynamic pressure is equal to the total pressure minus static pressure. As we seen earlier that total pressure is equal to static pressure plus dynamic pressure. So from that we can change the right like this: dynamic pressure is equal to total pressure minus static pressure. We know the dynamic pressure formula is half rho v square. In this, rho is the density of air and v is the measured airspeed of the aircraft. So in aircraft we have this static port and the pitot tube. It is connected to an instrument by the tubings. The instrument is called the airspeed indicator. The velocity of the aircraft is measured in knots in this airspeed indicator. The speed measured from the airspeed indicator is called the indicated airspeed. So in aircraft we have different airspeeds. We will see that in one by one. One is the indicated airspeed. Second one is the calibrated airspeed. Third one is the equivalent airspeed. And fourth one is the true airspeed. Now we see this airspeeds in detail. So indicated airspeed is the speed which is measured from the airspeed indicator, and the calibrated airspeed is the corrected speed for pressure errors. That means if the indicated airspeed is corrected for pressure errors, we will get the calibrated airspeeds. We can plot this calibrated airspeed from the graph, which has the indicated airspeed as x-axis and calibrated airspeed as y-axis. If we know the indicated airspeed, we can easily plot the calibrated airspeed from this graph. The next is the equivalent airspeed. If the indicated airspeed is corrected for compressibility errors, we will get the equivalent airspeed. And the next one is the true airspeed, which is the important parameter. This is the true speed of an aircraft which is flying at different altitudes. If the indicated airspeed is corrected for air density, we will get the true airspeed. Suppose how it is corrected and how much difference we will get when correcting the pressure errors and density errors, that we will see now. Suppose we have from the pitot tube we got the indicated airspeed as 80 knots, means after correcting for pressure errors we will get the calibrated airspeed as 88 knots. Then after correcting for air density errors, we will get the true airspeed as 100 knots. This 100 knots is the real speed of an aircraft which is flying at different altitudes or different altitudes. So this is how a pitot tube works in an aircraft, and how we will calculate the speed of the aircraft. So I hope you all understand from this lecture. Thank you. Subscribe my channel.